Hello and welcome to this new section on workforce planning and analytics and the first lecture of that in this course, AI for HR Excellence. So in this particular section, we will talk to you about what are the various AI tools and systems that can help you do the workforce planning and analytics in the best possible way. And there we will begin by looking at, in this particular lecture, how does AI forecast staffing needs, turnover risk, employee turnover risk, and future leadership gaps as a part of predictive workforce modeling. So that is the topic of this lecture. So in this workforce planning and analytics section, we will talk of two things. First is the predictive workforce modeling, in which we will talk, as you could guess now, is we will talk about forecasting staffing needs, turnover risk, and future leadership gap. And we will cover roughly three lectures, including this one. And then the remaining three lectures of this section, we will talk about diversity and inclusion metrics. And there we will talk about how AI tracks diversity matrices and suggests initiative for improvement and how can you implement such a AI system. So that's the scope for this section. Then let's take a look at in this lecture, how does AI forecast staffing needs, turnover risk, and future leadership gap? Any thoughts on that? Any thoughts on how does AI forecast staffing needs, turnover risk, and future leadership gaps? You know, AI forecasts staffing needs, turnover risk, and future leadership gap by analyzing a large set of workforce data, very large volume of workforce data. And with that, it identifies the patterns in the data that reflect the real life and then use the predictive models to anticipate future scenarios. So that's how the prediction happens, starting with data analysis, finding patterns, and using models to anticipate future scenarios. Now, what are the various steps AI does? Let's take a look at that. So first it does let's take a look at by each of these areas. Let's take a look at how does the AI system do forecasting of the staffing needs. Now there it looks very simple. AI uses historical data and business trends to predict hiring requirements. So that's how at an overall level forecasting of staffing needs happen. But there's a lot more to it. Now it analyzes, AI analyzes the past hiring trends, turnovers that have happened, the promotions, the business growth, and seasonal cycle. And then uses the predictive models like, regression, time series forecasting to estimate. Estimate what? Future headcounts by the departments, skill demands based on the evolving job roles, and hiring lead times and bottlenecks. So, and that's how the forecasting of the staffing needs happen by the AI. Then let's take a look at what data does the AI system use to forecast these staffing needs. It uses things like headcount history, how many people have been there in the organization at different points of time, and the business growth plans of future, how your business is likely to grow versus what it has grown, projected revenue or expansion plans, and employee productivity matrices. So that's the data used. And as a result of that data and the predictive modeling, it then determines the your forecasting needs as we saw earlier. Then the second thing AI does is identifying the turnover risk. Now, how does AI identify employee turnover risk? AI can detect, early warning signs of employee likely to leave by, using uh, classification model trained on data from past exits. So from the past turnover, it uses classification data for each of the employees to flag at-risk employee based on, based on things like drop in engagement or performance, reduced communication or participation, negative sentiment in feedback or surveys, or managerial changes or internal transfer. Now, what data does it use to flag these risk-based, risky employees who are likely to leave? It uses things like exit interviews, employee engagement surveys, productivity and attendance logs, and feedback and performance history. And the result is HR receives early alerts to intervene and retain top talent. So that's how the AI does the identification of employee turnover risk in the system. Then it also does the spotting of the future leadership gap. Can you believe this? Now, AI helps identify who might retire, leave, or where the successors might be lacking, and that enables the succession planning. And how does it do that? It maps the current leadership pipeline and bench strength, right? And predicts leadership vacancies based on retirement eligibility, promotion trends, attrition likelihood, and recommends internal candidates with leadership traits or development potential. So that's how it does this task of spotting future leadership gaps. And what data does it use to do that? It uses data like tenure, age, promotion history, performance reviews, and leadership potential scores, learning path completions, and 360-degree feedback. So using these two main steps and the things that we mentioned here and the data and the process, it spots the future leadership gaps. So let's take a look at few AI enhancements. Now, one of this is the first of this we talk about is the natural language processing. Now, with this NLP, AI analyzes open text feedback for dissatisfaction trends. Then the second thing AI enhances is the machine learning capabilities by continuously improving prediction based on the new employee behaviors. And then it also builds in the visualization dashboards that show predictive attrition heat maps, pipeline gaps, and headcount forecasts. So like this, the system is enhanced by the AI. So let's summarize what we took a look at. Let's take a look at various kind of forecasts that are done by the AI. The first one is the staffing need forecast, which is powered by the historical data plus time series analysis or machine learning models. And the typical output is hiring forecast, skill demands. Then there is employee turnover risk forecast, which is done by using the classification models and sentiment analysis. And the output of that is a score on the risk of employees and retention alerts. And you can even do the leadership gaps analysis forecast by succession modeling and performance data. And their output is ultimately a future vacancies and promotion readiness map. So that's the summary of the various forecasts AI can do. So what do we do next? So we have looked at in predictive workforce modeling, how does AI tools forecast these three things: staffing needs, turnover risk, and future leadership gap. We will now look at what are the AI tools that can help you do that, right? That's the topic of the next lecture. So thank you so much for watching this first lecture on workforce planning and analytics in this course AI for HR Excellence. I hope you're continuing to learn new things, continuing to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions, and do download the PDF file to take a look at anything that you need to.